Within the vast wilderness of North America, grizzly bears are more than creatures that endure, they are symbols of restraint and strategy. Their strength is never spent in haste. Each strike is the result of patience and calculation, every decision sharpened by experience. In their movements and conflicts, the wild reveals a deeper truth. Survival follows an order, and instinct alone is never enough. Grizzly bears are a quintessential image of the North American wilderness. An adult can weigh over 1,000 pounds and stand up to 8 feet tall, living scattered from rainforests to riverine areas. They can move at speeds up to 35 miles per hour, but their strength and speed aren't the only factors. Grizzly bears are typical omnivores, from fruit and salmon to carrion, with a sense of smell sensitive enough to detect scents from miles across the forest. They don't live in fixed herds, nor do they aggressively claim territory. Grizzly bears generally keep their distance from other bears to avoid conflict, except during the breeding season or when caring for their young. These are also the times when clashes are most likely to occur. Grizzly bears are both a testament to muscular strength and a display of instinctive control. In the natural world, where the chance of survival always comes with the risk of death, grizzly bears survive thanks to a balance between intuition, strength, and flexible adaptation. Grizzly wolves are highly organized animals, living in packs of 6 to over 20 individuals, renowned for their coordination and role-playing when hunting. They move nimbly, using encirclement and distraction tactics to overwhelm larger prey. However, when facing a lone grizzly bear, superior in strength and size, caution is still essential. In many cases, bears don't actively seek out wolves. However, when food interests intersect, such as carcasses or foraging grounds, conflict arises. The bear doesn't charge immediately, but walks slowly, raising itself higher, forcing the wolf to retreat with its overwhelming presence. The wolf pack attempts to encircle, spreading out in multiple directions to distract. One wolf approaches to draw attention, while others look for opportunities to approach from the flank. But the bear's muscular strength and double its weight create an insurmountable wall.
It has advantages. It's not as sharp.
Once the bears have reached their food source, their powerful claw strikes are enough to force the entire pack to retreat. Despite their numbers, the wolves rarely dare to engage in a direct confrontation. In this battle, the pack's tactics are no match for the bear's overwhelming physical superiority. In the reed-covered swamplands, moose stand like living fortresses. Their average shoulder height exceeds 6 feet, and they weigh up to 1,500 pounds. Their antlers, up to 6 feet wide, serve both as a defense mechanism and a symbol of dominance during the breeding season. Faced with such a target, the grizzly bear doesn't act rashly. It silently tracks the footprints in the mud, carefully sniffing out any lingering scent. If it detects a young or pregnant individual, the bear meticulously plans, cornering the prey in shallow, muddy water where its footing is easily lost. The space gradually narrows. Before the moose can react, it's led to a disadvantageous position. The bear maintains its distance, patiently observing every movement. Only when the moose's feet begin to slip in the mud does the bear make its decisive move.
Look, he's got him.
Water splashes up in a white spray. The moose struggled in the mud, but the bear maintained its stamina. Taking advantage of the terrain and timing, it gradually exhausted its prey. The fight didn't require recklessness, just patience, endurance, and a little advantage from nature. In the open forest, even a small movement can awaken dormant predatory instincts. Deer, agile and alert, usually rely on their hearing and speed. But for a grizzly bear, just a small opening is enough to trigger action. The bear doesn't chase immediately. It silently approaches from the downwind side, using the canopy and low terrain to conceal its footsteps. When the distance is close enough, a sudden, full-body lunge is launched not to kill instantly, but to force the prey into a state of panic. The deer immediately springs up, darting through the bushes. But the bear doesn't need speed. It follows step by step, steadily and persistently. A slip, a log blocking the path, just one mistake, and the balance tips sharply in favor of the predator. The outcome doesn't always favor the bear, but in each chase, what is tested is not just endurance, but the limits of survival between two creatures that live based on instinct. A mature male grizzly bear can control a territory spanning tens of square kilometers, containing food sources, wintering grounds, and mating opportunities. But that territory isn't always peaceful. When an intruder appears, conflict becomes inevitable. The bears don't immediately charge. Instead, they circle, emitting low growls to assert their dominance. They stand facing each other, rearing up, clawing at the ground, sending a clear signal. This territory is claimed. The goal isn't destruction, but establishing order. The clash can end in minutes when one side backs down. The victor retains the territory. The loser is forced to retreat, leaving behind a scent as an acknowledgement. On the vast savanna, elk move in herds for protection and survival. A mature male can weigh up to 700 pounds, possessing long, curved antlers like giant branches, and can run over 35 miles per hour in short bursts. Faced with such agility, the grizzly bear is not in a hurry. It silently follows the herd, patiently analyzing each individual. Only when it detects an individual that is weak, old, injured, or slowing down does the bear begin to approach. Not by brute force, but by selectivity. When the herd moves through a slope or near the edge of a stream, the bear waits for the moment its prey stumbles or loses its balance. It lunges from the side, a position where its antlers cannot reach. Elk struggles to rejoin the herd, but each step of the bear presses down. Dust is kicked up in bursts. This hunt is not measured by speed, but by persistence. And when the elk is exhausted, the bear doesn't need any more pounces because victory has been secured the moment it chooses the right timing. As summer arrives, salmon begin their arduous journey upstream to spawn, traversing miles of rapids and strong currents. Averagely 30 inches in size and weighing 10 pounds, salmon are a rich source of fat, providing grizzly bears with the energy they need for the coming winter. The bears don't wait for the fish to jump ashore. They strategically choose locations where the water is shallow and the current is strong, or just before the waterfalls, where the fish tend to slow down. Their eyes are constantly watching, registering every movement underwater. When the time comes, a precise kick sends the fish flying out of the water. There's no need to rush. With keen instincts and almost instantaneous reflexes, the bears process each prey efficiently. Each hunt lasts only a few seconds, but involves dozens of missed attempts beforehand. Amidst the lapping water and the pungent smell of the fish, the grizzly bear becomes part of the river. This wasn't just a summer party, but a lesson in survival. Patience, timing, and adaptability are what separate well-being from starvation. Grizzly bears are driven not by the need to dominate, but by the delicate balance between raw power and restraint. Every pursuit, every clash, reflects the unspoken laws that govern life in a brutal wilderness. They may not outrun their rivals, nor overpower every opponent, yet endurance is where they prevail. Deep within the forest, a single moment of perfect timing can determine whether an entire season ends in survival or in loss. On the African savanna, hyenas are known for their attacks based on numbers and coordination. However, not every approach or close-range assault yields the intended results. When attacks encounter opponents with tight formations, strong defenses, or powerful protective instincts, the hyena's tactics can be thwarted. These moments demonstrate that in nature, not every attack ends in victory. On the vast savannas and scattered woodlands of Africa, the spotted hyena is a highly social predator. This species is often misunderstood due to its flexible foraging habits. In reality, hyenas are efficient hunters, operating based on pack coordination. An adult spotted hyena typically weighs between 120 and 150 pounds, with females usually larger than males. Their bodies have lower shoulders than hips, suited to sustained long-distance travel. Their strong jaws allow them to crush bones and utilize leftover food. Hyenas live in well-ordered packs, often led by females, with numbers exceeding 50 individuals. Hierarchy within the pack determines access to food and directly influences the development of offspring. They are active day and night, traveling more than 15 miles in each foraging cycle, thereby maintaining a stable position within the ecosystem. Buffaloes are herbivores that live in large herds, constantly moving across the savanna in search of grass and water. Adult individuals are muscular, heavy, and possess curved horns that play a crucial role in protecting themselves and their young. During the breeding season, calves must stand and move within very short periods, as any slowness can cause them to become separated from the herd. When a calf is born and still weak, hyenas appear from the periphery. They approach cautiously, lowering their bodies and focusing their attention on the smallest individual. The distance narrows as the hyenas try to pressure and separate the calf from its surrounding protection. At that moment, the mother returns. It lunged forward, using its body and horns to block the hyena's approach. The decisive reaction forced the hyena to stop and retreat. The other adult individuals quickly formed a protective circle around the calf. The wildebeest prevailed as the herd regained control of the area. The calf was protected and continued moving in unison. The pressure from the hyena subsided, and the encounter ended. Cheetahs are the fastest land cats, yet they are very cautious. An adult cheetah typically weighs between 75 and 140 pounds, with a slender build suitable for short chases. After hunting an antelope, a cheetah usually needs quiet time to recover its strength. Once the prey is subdued, the hyena appears. They approach slowly, maintaining distance, waiting for the cheetah's reaction. Usually, the cheetah would retreat to avoid conflict due to its disadvantage in strength and defensive capabilities. This time, the situation was different. The cub was nearby, preventing the cheetah from leaving its position. It repeatedly lunged forward, closing in and counterattacking decisively, forcing the hyena to retreat. Faced with fierce resistance and the risk of injury, the hyena stopped approaching and retreated. This encounter doesn't reflect a difference in size. It shows how the instinct to protect its young can completely alter its usual behavior. In nature, survival depends not only on physical advantages, but also on the circumstances and dynamics at the time. African buffaloes are one of the most remarkably strong collective herbivores on the savanna. Adult individuals are large, heavy, and possess thick, curved horns. The safety of the young doesn't depend on speed, but on the discipline and cohesion of the entire herd. When hyenas appear, they quickly assess the formation. The buffalo herd doesn't scatter. The adults move closer, forming a living barrier, placing the young in the center. All approaches are blocked by the buffalo's body and horns. Hyenas move around the edge of the herd, searching for gaps. They try to approach from various directions, but cannot separate any individuals. After a long period without creating any clear opportunities, the pressure gradually decreases. The encounter ends with the African buffalo gaining the upper hand. The pack held their formation and successfully protected their young. The hyenas retreated, demonstrating that in situations like this, collective strength trumps any tactical approach. Lions are large cats with superior size and strength on the savanna. An adult lion can weigh many times more than a hyena, with a sturdy body, well-developed neck and shoulders, suitable for holding position and reacting directly. Whether at rest or alert, lions maintain a clear control around themselves. When hyenas appear, they don't approach individually. Many individuals spread out in a wide circle, advancing in short strides and pausing to observe the lion's reaction. Their numbers create constant pressure, forcing the lion to turn to observe and maintain a defensive posture. Tension increases when a single hyena gets too close. The lion reacts immediately, stepping forward and using its physical advantage at close range to control the situation. This action quickly makes the hyena pack aware of the risk. They spread out and retreated, ending their attempts to approach. The confrontation ended with the lions having the upper hand. In this case, numbers were insufficient to overcome the difference in size and individual strength. The hyena's retreat clearly demonstrates the limitations of pack tactics when facing a superior opponent. Honey badgers are small animals of modest size, but renowned for their fierce defenses. Their low profile, thick skin, and quick reflexes allow them to withstand pressure when surrounded. Honey badgers usually move alone and are ready to confront larger predators when necessary. When hyenas approach and surround them, honey badgers don't retreat, but constantly change direction, launching short counterattacks to keep their opponents at a risky distance. Their constant movement prevents the hyenas from determining a safe or stable approach point. After a period of not creating a clear opportunity, the hyena pack reduces pressure and retreats. The encounter ends with the honey badge emerging victorious. Their proactive defense and continuous reactions forced the hyenas to retreat, demonstrating that numbers don't always guarantee an advantage. Leopards are solitary big cats that rely on caution and climbing ability to protect their hunted prey. An adult typically weighs between 90 and 150 pounds, is compact, and has quick reflexes. In many cases, the leopard drags its prey up a tree where it can eat quietly. That quiet doesn't always last. When hyenas spot prey, they approach from a distance, low-lying, moving slowly, and maintaining a safe distance. Instead of a direct confrontation, the hyenas stand below, targeting weak points and continuously applying pressure. They avoid close range, where the leopard can inflict serious injury with its claws. Faced with increasing pressure and the risk of injury, the leopard begins to reassess the situation. Holding the prey means prolonged risk. Retreating helps conserve energy for the next hunt. Eventually, the leopard left the spot, and the hyena seized the food source. This outcome didn't come from sheer strength. It came from tactics, patience, and the ability to choose the right moment. In nature, survival depends on making the right decisions at the right time, not just on individual strength. On the vast savanna, survival is not determined solely by strength. For wild dogs, each hunt is a test of timing, distance, and risk. They know when to attack, when to wait, and when to retreat. The journey ahead is a story of collective strength, patience, and choices that determine survival. The African wild dog, also known as the painted wolf, is a highly organized predator. Each weighing around 50 to 70 pounds, smaller than a lion or leopard, their strength comes from their unity. No one separates from the pack. All actions are geared towards the common good. A pack can consist of up to 30 individuals, traveling dozens of miles a day. They hunt by dividing into groups, blocking paths, and surrounding prey. Every step is precisely coordinated. Wild dogs can reach speeds of nearly 44 miles per hour and maintain them over long distances. Their success rate is over 80%, higher than any other large predator in Africa. In the arid savanna environment, they rely on endurance, discipline, and cooperation. When one animal is injured, the entire pack stops to wait. The survival of the pack depends on coordination, not individual strength. On the savanna, lions appear with a slow, controlled gait. Their large size, powerful muscles, and quick reflexes give them an advantage in any direct confrontation. When a lion stands firm in its territory, it is an opponent that very few species can safely confront. The pack of wild dogs approached from a distance. They did not charge or attempt to surround the lion. The individuals moved around, maintaining a steady distance and observing the lion's every reaction. Each step was carefully considered to avoid a situation that could harm the entire pack. When the pack of wild dogs got closer, the lion turned its head, stood upright, and gave a clear warning signal. The pack of wild dogs immediately stopped. There was no attempt to get any closer. None of them crossed the established safe boundary. The confrontation ended without a fight. The pack of wild dogs retreated in an orderly fashion, maintaining their formation and strength. On the savanna, victory isn't always measured by taking down an opponent. For wild dogs, preserving their strength and retreating at the right time are the most important survival decisions.
So now, checking after the turn, they're gonna cut.
On the open savanna, buffalo move in tight formations. An adult can weigh from 1,100 to over 1,500 pounds and stand nearly 6 feet tall at the shoulder. While in a herd, their collective strength and protective horns make them a threat that even large predators must be wary of. Wild dogs don't directly confront the buffalo herd. They patiently observe from a distance, monitoring every movement. When a buffalo separates from the protective formation, the entire pack immediately shifts positions and focuses on that lone individual.
Also buy the private cars.
The wild dogs move around the perimeter, maintaining constant but controlled pressure. No one risks getting too close. The pressure is distributed evenly throughout the pack, gradually rendering the lone buffalo incapable of effective resistance. The hunt ended with victory for the pack of wild dogs. On the savanna, buffalo are almost invulnerable when in a herd. But when separated, the collective strength and close coordination of the wild dogs can decide the outcome. The morning on the savanna passed peacefully. The herd of impala moved slowly through the lowlands. They were known for their speed and agility, capable of leaping up to 9 feet and reaching speeds of around 55 miles per hour. In brief moments, speed helped the impala escape. But as the chase dragged on, that advantage gradually disappeared. At the edge of the savanna, the pack of wild dogs began to appear. They didn't charge immediately. No rush, no risk. The individuals spread out in familiar formations, silently controlling the open space and shallow pools ahead. The goal wasn't to catch up as quickly as possible, but to maintain constant pressure. When the impala sensed danger and sprang into action, the wild dogs maintained a steady pace. They didn't accelerate suddenly. 2 dogs flanked it from the sides, while others blocked its path. Impala constantly changes direction and leaps to escape, but each jump further depletes its energy. The relentless pressure gradually slows the prey down. On the vast savanna, herds of wildebeest move in long lines. They are large, heavy, and always rely on numbers for self-protection. When moving together, each individual blends into the dense mass, making it difficult for predators to choose a clear target. The wild dogs don't charge into the center of the herd. They approach from the outer edges, where weaker or slower individuals are more likely to be exposed. No single dog pursues for too long. Individuals take turns approaching, creating constant pressure, but without exhausting too much of each individual's energy. When a wildebeest begins to fall behind, the wild dogs maintain a sufficient distance. They don't give the prey time to rest. Each time the wildebeest slows down, another wild dog advances, maintaining a steady pursuit rhythm. The collective endurance gradually exhausts the prey. Finally, the wildebeest separates completely from the herd. The pack of wild dogs closed the circle and took control. Victory came not from a single dominant individual, but from the shared burden among the pack. On the savanna, wild dogs demonstrated a clear principle. When the collective carries the load, even large prey can collapse. Survival lies not in individual strength, but in the ability to cooperate persistently. On the edge of the open forest, the leopard moves alone, silently, and with controlled steps. It is a very powerful predator when operating alone, with a flexible body, quick reflexes, and the ability to strike accurately. In confined spaces and areas covered by trees, the leopard often holds a clear advantage. The pack of wild dogs quickly assesses the situation and chooses a cautious approach. They spread out around it, maintaining a steady distance to create constant pressure. No one gets too close. Each individual stands in its designated position, forcing the leopard to constantly distract itself in multiple directions. When the pressure is maintained for a sufficient amount of time, the leopard's solitary hunting advantage begins to wane. It is no longer able to focus on a single point. Its movements become slower and more cautious, as there is no longer a safe space. The pack of wild dogs maintained a steady rhythm, maintaining just enough presence to force their opponent to retreat. Finally, the leopard withdrew to the dense vegetation. The pack of wild dogs stopped as soon as a safe distance was established. There was no direct confrontation, but the outcome was clear. Leopards are strong when operating alone, while wild dogs survive through coordination and the ability to know when to stop. On rocky slopes and in sparse forests, baboon troops live in a state of heightened vigilance. Adult baboons are strong, intelligent, and always maintain a topographical advantage. With their powerful jaws and quick reflexes, they are not easy prey to approach. Wild dogs are well aware of this risk. They do not attack directly or confront the adult baboons. The entire pack stops, observes, and waits. When the baboon troop moves through an open area, a young baboon slows down and separates from the group. The wild dogs immediately act. They gently steer the baboon, blocking its return to higher ground and maintaining constant pressure. The attack is quick and controlled. The wild dogs win and then retreat immediately. In nature, victory sometimes comes from knowing when not to fight. For wild dogs, survival is about choosing the right moment and controlling risk. On the vast savanna, hyenas are not the strongest predators. But they are a species that knows how to wait, how to read the situation, and how to take advantage of their opponent's weakest moments. Recorded confrontations show that fear doesn't come from sudden bursts of strength, but from persistent pressure and unwavering presence. Lions appear with a slow, controlled gait. As the apex predator of the savanna, they are accustomed to confronting and maintaining their position. A mature lion can weigh over 400 pounds. Its strength lies in its physical prowess, composure, and ability to directly overwhelm. When alone, a lion is still a formidable opponent. But on the savanna, individual strength is not always enough to guarantee safety, especially when the number of opponents begins to increase. Hyenas appear from multiple directions, initially a few individuals, then quickly becoming more numerous. When their numbers exceed 24, the pressure is created in a very different way. Without rushing, they maintain distance and wear down the lion's concentration. The lion resists while surrounded. It holds its position, constantly shifting to avoid being cornered from behind. Every move the hyena makes is calculated to prolong the tension. In such moments, the balance isn't on the strike itself. It's on time and psychology. As long as the hyena's confidence remains, the pressure continues. Then the situation changes. From a distance, another lion appears. Just one more individual, and the entire battle instantly reverses. The presence of the alliance causes the hyena to lose its psychological advantage. The formation begins to spread out. Individuals retreat as the balance of power shifts in their favor. The lion doesn't need to pursue. Power has been re-established.
He ate already.
In nature, lions may be strong when alone, but it is alliance that provides long-term survival insurance. For hyenas, victory only exists when numbers and confidence are present. Cheetahs appear on the savanna with their familiar caution. Slender and agile, they are predators that rely almost entirely on speed. An adult cheetah typically weighs between 75 and 140 pounds. Their survival strategy is to finish quickly and leave before risk arises. After completing a hunt, the cheetah lingers briefly to regain its breath. Food is right in front of them, but vigilance is no longer at its highest. In the distance, hyenas are foraging. They spot the presence of a lone individual and approach. No chase is necessary, just being present at the right time. The pressure builds with each step closer. The cheetah understands its limitations in prolonged situations. It wasn't built to hold its ground against multiple rivals. Eventually, the cheetah leaves the area. The food source is left behind. The hyenas seize the prey through timing and numbers. In the wild, cheetahs are efficient hunters. But when faced with pressure from multiple sides, speed is no longer enough to maintain a gain. Leopards appear in the quiet afternoon. They move low, observing carefully, accustomed to hunting alone. An adult leopard weighs approximately 90 to 160 pounds. Their ability to strike quickly and accurately allows them to control many hunts. Leopards are effective predators. But in the wild, capturing prey is only the first step. Securing the food source is the longer and more complex challenge. While the leopard remains in the foraging area, hyenas begin to appear. They approach from multiple directions, unhurriedly, maintaining a safe distance. Hyenas avoid getting too close, as at close range, leopards always pose a significant threat. Instead of a direct confrontation, Hyenas attack low and move around the perimeter. They target vulnerable points, applying constant pressure. Each advance forces the leopard to adjust its position and observation. The safe space gradually narrowed. Staying meant increasing risk. Over time, the balance of power began to tilt. Ultimately, the leopard abandoned the food source, not because of inferior skill, but because the risks outweighed the benefits of holding on. The hyena achieved its goal through strategy and patience. In the wild, leopards may be excellent predators, but holding on to prey under the pressure of a large group is the toughest test of survival. Buffaloes move steadily with their herds across the savanna. Their large size and steady gait allow them to rely on their numbers to minimize risk. An adult buffalo can weigh between 400 and 600 pounds. When the herd maintains formation, safety is maintained. However, this stability isn't always perfect. Young buffaloes move more slowly and are more likely to fall out of sync. Just a moment of misalignment can instantly weaken the collective defense. Hyenas quickly recognize the vulnerability. They focus on the young buffalo, approaching low and cautiously. Their target is chosen based on weakness, not strength. The reaction is almost instantaneous. The mother buffalo charges straight forward with a strong protective instinct. A single direct charge was enough to disrupt the approach. There was no prolonged struggle. When the advantage vanished, the hyena retreated. The outcome was clear. Hyenas only win when their prey is weak and unprotected. For wildebeest, the bond between mother and offspring is a crucial survival boundary that cannot be overlooked. African wild dogs move with quiet discipline. They travel in packs, coordinating seamlessly, each individual aware of their distance and timing. An adult wild dog weighs approximately 50 to 70 pounds. Their strength lies not in individual effort, but in their teamwork. Speed and communication signals give wild dogs an advantage in many situations. They have even won food from leopards through precise coordination and quick action. But that advantage is only sustainable as long as the group remains intact. Hyenas appear with a slower, heavier pace. They advance in groups, maintaining distance, gradually closing the space. A spotted hyena can weigh between 120 and 140 pounds. Their collective presence creates constant pressure. The approach is calculated. Hyenas reclaim food sources using their strong jaws and endurance. Within the pack, stronger individuals approach first, reflecting a clear social order. As the wild dogs try to regroup, space becomes increasingly limited. Coordination gradually diminishes under the prolonged pressure from the hyenas. The wild dogs are forced to retreat to avoid unnecessary risk. In nature, cooperation can create strength. But when pressure exceeds limits, knowing when to retreat is the key to survival. African buffaloes stand firmly in the savanna. With their massive bodies and strong, curved horns, they rarely move alone. A mature buffalo can weigh over 1,300 pounds. Their strength lies not in speed, but in endurance and herd spirit. When they sense danger, the buffalo herd quickly changes formation. The stronger individuals move to the front. The weaker ones are kept in the center. The entire herd forms a unified defensive block. Hyenas appear in large numbers. Even with more than 10 individuals gathered around the herd, they maintain distance and observe. Any attempt to approach is met with a unified reaction. The buffaloes build a living wall. Their horns point outwards. The distance between individuals is kept tight. There are no gaps to exploit. The hyenas search for a lone individual, but the formation does not break. There was no clear target to exert pressure on. When they couldn't break the unity, the hyenas gradually retreated. The pressure decreased with each step back. The outcome was determined without confrontation. The buffalo held its position thanks to its cohesion. With the hyenas, when they couldn't separate the individuals, the approach had to end. Zebras move in herds across the vast savanna. They rely on speed, alertness, and the ability to maintain formation. A healthy zebra always maintains a safe distance from potential threats. When strong enough, zebras rarely find themselves in disadvantageous situations. The situation changes when an individual suffers a leg injury. In a short time, its ability to defend itself is significantly reduced. Its movement slows, causing it to gradually separate from the herd. Hyenas quickly recognize the abnormality. They approach cautiously, alternately applying pressure from multiple directions. Their approach isn't aimed at a quick finish, but rather at prolonging the fight to weaken the opponent. As the weakening becomes apparent, more and more hyenas appear. The numerical advantage is formed silently. The outcome gradually takes shape. For hyenas, injury often means unavoidable risk. Their results don't come from direct strength, but from their ability to recognize and exploit weaknesses at the right moment. In the wild, every encounter carries a life or death question. There is no negotiation, no second chances, only decisive action. Wild dogs don't wait for opportunities. They create them through discipline and relentless pressure. And when the encirclement closes, the hunted must choose between fleeing or collapsing. Wild dogs don't attack with hesitation. The moment action begins, the encirclement tightens instantly. There's no room for hesitation, no clear escape route. This isn't a spontaneous reflex, but a strategy honed over thousands of years of survival. They live in packs with rare cohesion. A pack typically consists of 6 to over 20 individuals, moving as a unified whole. Sound, gaze, and position are always maintained in orderly silence. No individual exists outside the pack's overall structure. Each individual plays an irreplaceable role. One maintains pressure from behind, another silently blocks the escape route from the front. The coordination happens naturally, without commands, without hesitation. Wild dogs aren't impressive in size, but their bodies are born for endurance. They can run dozens of miles in temperatures exceeding 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Their large ears constantly dissipate heat, and their long legs maintain a constant rhythm of movement. Pack discipline transforms wild dogs into a highly efficient hunting system. Overwhelming strength isn't necessary. Individual superiority isn't required. The strength of wild dogs lies in their organization. And in nature, organization is the most enduring form of power. Baboons live in large troops with complex social structures. Each individual has a distinct place within the overall order. Adults weigh around 90 pounds, possess long fangs, and have an aggressive temperament. When they sense danger, trees quickly become their natural fortress. The wild dogs don't rush to approach. They maintain distance, spreading out around the area. There is no direct confrontation. The goal is to observe and wait. When a young individual slows down, leaving the baboon's protective circle, the order immediately changes. The wild dogs act quickly and precisely, ending the confrontation in a short time. The result is clear. The wild dogs gain the advantage not through immediate strength, but through patience and the ability to choose the right moment. In nature, that is the decisive factor in winning or losing. Impalas are herbivorous animals that live in packs on the savanna. An adult weighs about 150 pounds. They move close together, constantly observing their surroundings to detect danger early. In open spaces, vigilance and order help the pack maintain stability. The appearance of wild dogs does not immediately cause the impala pack to panic. They maintain their formation, finding a safe route. The pack approaches in an organized manner, each individual maintaining a clear position. There is no sudden acceleration. Over time, the impala's movement rhythm changes. Their breathing becomes heavier, their running steps lose precision. The safe distance begins to narrow. The pack maintains its formation, controlling the surrounding space. When impalas are cornered in shallow water, their options become limited. The terrain reduces their ability to accelerate and change direction. The pack of wild dogs tightened their grip on the prey's movement and forced it to stop. The result was clear. In nature, Victory or defeat is often determined by the ability to maintain rhythm and control the situation, not just by speed of movement. Crocodiles are the silent rulers of the swamps. Adult crocodiles weigh around 1,200 pounds, with a bite force that can reach 3,700 psi. In the water, all the advantages are theirs. That strength lies in patience and the ability to wait for mistakes. The pack of wild dogs enters the swamp to drink and hunt. They move slowly, maintaining a loose formation. This space is fraught with risk. A single misstep could drag prey into an underwater ambush. The crocodiles remain motionless. The wild dogs keep their distance. The tension lingers in silence. There is no recklessness, only observation and controlled movement. When the crocodiles are forced out of the shallow water, the balance immediately shifts. On dry land, their heavy bodies become a disadvantage. The pack of wild dogs uses their speed and numbers, constantly applying pressure to force their opponent to retreat. The encounter ended quickly. The swamp returned to its quiet. The outcome was clear. The crocodile retreated to its territory. The wild dog maintained a safe distance. In nature, no predator is invincible. True strength only exists when it is applied in the right place, at the right time. Male lions establish their dominance through presence. Adult lions weigh approximately 500 pounds, possessing massive bodies and superior physical strength. For wild dogs, each weighing only about 60 pounds, this is an unmatchable opponent in terms of numbers or pack tactics. This disparity creates a clear boundary. Lions don't hunt wild dogs for food. Their approaches are usually aimed at asserting and defending territory. The lion's prolonged presence forces wild dogs to constantly adjust their living areas, especially during the calving period, when risks are heightened. A roar echoes from afar. It's not a challenge, but a death warning. The pack of wild dogs stops immediately. No advance, no probing. They observe the ground to read the footprints, listen to the wind direction and the source of the roar. Individuals silently shift positions. The entire pack proactively changes its route. The confrontation ends in silence. No clashes. The lions maintain control of their territory. The wild dogs retreat safely. In the natural world, avoiding conflict at the right time is also a form of victory. Survival sometimes lies not in confrontation, but in the ability to recognize limits and leave before the risks become irreversible. In the vast open savanna, a herd of buffaloes marches in tight formation. Each step is a combination of defense and observation. An adult can weigh up to 1,500 pounds, stand nearly 6 feet tall at the shoulder, and possess sharp horns that can become a powerful counterattack weapon. The The wild dogs don't attack immediately. They follow closely from a distance, watching every movement. When the entire herd begins to move faster, the sound of their footsteps echoes on the ground. A young buffalo that can't keep up with the herd is the moment the dogs have been waiting for. They quickly surround them, closing in without revealing any weaknesses. There's no chaos, no rush, just individual animals holding their positions, gradually closing the distance. The parent buffaloes spot them and turn to counterattack to protect their offspring. The confrontation was tense, but the pack of dogs remained intact and undisturbed. Their numerical advantage and coordination created overwhelming pressure. Under this pressure, the buffalo herd was forced to retreat. The young buffalo were left behind. This victory belonged to the wild dogs, not only because of their patience, but also because their pack spirit was maintained until the very end. The confrontation took place on the edge of a sparse forest, where trees were scattered and visibility was limited. Leopards are solitary predators, scattered from dense forests to rocky mountain edges and low-lying areas. An adult weighs between 120 and 200 pounds, has quick reflexes, and is capable of accurate strikes at close range. In confined spaces with many obstacles, they often gain an advantage through silent movement and unexpected maneuvers. This time, the situation unfolded in the opposite direction. A leopard left its cover and was immediately spotted by a pack of wild dogs. They didn't attack immediately, but dispersed, maintaining a steady distance and gradually closing in. No individual dog got close, but the pressure from multiple directions prevented the leopard from controlling the space. Its quick reflexes and agility were no longer fully utilized when constantly having to maneuver. The leopard gradually lost the initiative, being pushed into a defensive position. Although there was no direct attack, its ability to resist was clearly diminished. Finally, the leopard was forced to retreat, climbing a tree to avoid being completely subdued. The pack of wild dogs did not pursue further, maintaining their formation at the base of the tree, completely controlling the space below. Wild dogs are not the strongest enemies in the food chain, but they know how to choose the right time, the right target, and the right approach. Whether it's a crocodile, a lion, or a buffalo, any opponent can be repelled. Victory in the wild is not a matter of chance. It is the result of cold-blooded tactics,